Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Bhakta Dinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Satchitananda Ki Jai, Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Welcome, Amit. Okay, yeah. Amit. We have on Saturday, we looked at Bhagavad Gītā 241. Were you on Zoom? No, you weren't there at all.
No, I don't think I was. Not 241. I don't remember that.
Okay, so 241 we have looked at, and I'll read the translation, and we're going further. That was 241. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I need to share that screen, isn't it? Okay. That's the screen share. I just read the translation. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and the aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So that we have discussed on Saturday, and I just want to read that last paragraph, and then we go to 242-43. The whole process, however, the whole process of Krishna consciousness depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body. Not theoretically, but practically. That's important, practically. When there is no longer a chance for sense gratification, manifest in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. So now tonight we'll go to 42-43. Okay, let me read that Sanskrit. It's quite two verses. Yam imam pushpita vacham pravadanti avipashchita veda vadarata parta nanyat astiti vadina kamatmana sarga para janma karma palapradam kriya vishesha bahulam Bhogaishvarya Gatim Prati.
Men of small knowledge are very much
attached. Maybe you're breaking up.
Okay, sorry, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification an opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this.
Okay, very interesting. Your connection is not that great. There was a few breaks, but hopefully it settles, as you said.
Yeah, otherwise probably I might just have to reset it. Hopefully it just settles.
At the moment, it seems to be okay. Men of small knowledge. Yes, some people have little knowledge. And some people get proud, even having little knowledge. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say, little knowledge, small knowledge, is very dangerous. How are we supposed to understand that? Little knowledge is very dangerous. Because if someone has little knowledge and he becomes proud, then that is very dangerous. Thinking, I have now some knowledge, I'm a great personality, and one becomes arrogant, and all humility is out of the window. Humility is ever so important. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gītā, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihashtini. A wise and gentle Brahmana sees with equal vision. Very famous verse. So, a wise and gentle, a humble Brahmana. A Brahmana by nature is humble. And is gentle also. So humility for a Brahmin, and even generally for devotees, is very important. Not that we become puffed up just because we got little knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada quotes or speaks further. Then that person who is bereft of humility, he becomes proud and arrogant of having acquired a little knowledge, and he thinks, I have become more than my spiritual master. We never can become more than our spiritual master. So that is a lack of humility. Therefore, real knowledge means humility, tolerance, these qualities. Not book knowledge. Book knowledge will not help us very much. That is just intellectual knowledge. Or Srila Prabhupada gives that example. At the time of death, our knowledge will be tested. Not like the parrot. When the cat is biting his neck, and then before the parrot was nicely, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And when the cat is attacking him, then it's quack, 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 quack. So that will be the test. We may so nicely tell anybody and everybody, I'm chanting so nicely my rounds, chanting so many rounds, and when the time of death is coming, then that is tested. Are we lamenting that we have to leave this body, or are we remembering Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna till the last breath? That's a test. That's as an example Srila Prabhupada gives. So here again, someone with small knowledge, Krishna explains more. Such a person is attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. The Vedas have very nice words. Some reading the Vedas and there's so much taken in. by the flowery words, by beautiful words, beautiful composition of the verses. They don't understand really what the verses are really about. Theoretically, they accepting what they're hearing, perhaps. But practically, they don't realize. So it's just gyan. It's just book knowledge, parrot knowledge. But we need vigyan, realized knowledge, and there it comes in, the wise and gentle Brahmana. Wise, wisdom, that is vigyan. Wisdom means realized knowledge. That is wanted. Book knowledge will not help us very much. And we may be attracted to the beautiful language of Bhagavad Gītā, of Bhagavatam, of all the Shastra, of the Vedas. And the Vedas are composed in very beautiful language and beautiful poetry, so one can actually get sentimentally attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. So Srila Prabhupada, Lord Krishna says flowery words, because just like flowers are beautiful to look at. So the Vedas are also very beautifully composed. But if we just being attracted and our attention is captured by the flowery words of the Vedas, and we're sitting back and we're enjoying reading the Bhagavatam without deeply understanding the Bhagavatam. We're just reading, and of course all of that is helpful, but we don't get the full benefit if we don't dive into the deep meaning of the Bhagavatam. And it's so deep. Srila Prabhupada said, one word of the Bhagavatam we can discuss for months. Just one word, what to speak of one line, what to speak of one shloka. There's so many beautiful explanations and meaning of the previous acharyas and. So we have to be careful to get deep into the meaning of the Bhagavatam. Realized knowledge and Bhagavad Gītā and Chaitanya Charitamrita, of the Shastra, of the Vedas. Then Krishna says, the Vedas recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, good birth, power, and so on. So the question could be asked, why are the Vedas? I thought the Vedas were to elevate us to Krishna consciousness and prepare us of going back home to Godhead. Yes, that is there. But there is also the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas deals with fruitive activities. Why is this Karma Kanda section of the Vedas there? That's a question. Vedas have everything, not just Krishna consciousness. Vedas have material knowledge, Vedas have military knowledge, Vedas have medical knowledge, Ayurveda. All branches of knowledge are there in the Vedas. So therefore it is not surprising that the Karma Kanda section, which means fruitive activities, is also there. How to act in a pious way so that we get some good result. And what's a good result? Elevation to the heavenly planets. Good birth. Power. So many things. These are there. Those who want to have that, they can achieve that through Vedic knowledge. But they don't know this is not the goal of life. This is just getting us to the heavenly planets, and when our pious karma is exhausted, we're coming back down here. Another birth, another. So it's not a permanent solution, it's a very temporary solution of a little bit of enjoyment in the heavenly planets and coming down to this planet Earth, Mrityu Loka. the place of birth and death. There are many, even some devotees, secretly practice Krishna consciousness, but secretly they have some desire to go to the heavenly planets. Good birth, pious activity. They think if I chant Hare Krishna, that is helping me to go to the heavenly planets. Power. Then Lord Krishna says, being desirous for sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Of course, this type of person who take to the Vedas and looking at how to perform pious and fruitive activities and how to go to the heavenly planets, one can go, of course. And getting a good birth and power, they are generally desirous for sense gratification. They cannot get this pushing of the senses under control. And they want opulent life. Opulent life. The genuine devotees, they're not interested in opulent life. If opulent life comes, they take it and use it for, and engage it in Krishna's service. If not opulent, simple life, and then they take to the simple life. So let's read that purport, what Srila Prabhupada has to say. Amit, do you want to read that purport?
People in general are not very intelligent, and due to the ignorance, they are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the karma kanda portion of the Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotistoma sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices, and men with a poor fund of knowledge think that this is the whole purpose of the Vedic wisdom. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. As fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attractions. The flowers, also unenlightened men, are similarly attracted by such heavenly opulence and the sense enjoyment thereof. In the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, it is said, Vama Samam Mapta Abuma and Aksayam E the
Chaturmasya.
Chamutsya Yajnya Sukram
Ritam
Bhavati. In other words, those who perform the 4-month penances become eligible to drink the Soma Rasa beverages to become immortal and happy forever. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Soma Rasa, to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratification. Such persons have no faith in liberation from material bondage, and they're very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They are generally sensual, and they do not want anything other than the heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Nandana Kanana, in which there is good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women and having a profuse supply of soma rasa wine. Some bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material, temporary happiness, of lord of the material world.
Okay, thank you, Amit. The translation again. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of self-gratification and opulent life, say that there is nothing more than this. Well, with Srila Prabhupada's purport, he gives a brief explanation of the heavenly planets and what is happening there. We spoke already about the flowery language of the Vedas. Srila Prabhupada mentions here, people in general are not very intelligent. Why are people in general not very intelligent? Because all they care for is just satisfaction of the senses. The sense of sight, of sound, touch, smell, taste, and so on. And the mind, of course, also. Oh, Amrita Radhe Mataji, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So, this kind of persons, due to their ignorance means they don't know anything beyond sense gratification. So due to their ignorance of the higher truth and who they really are, they are most attached, Srila Prabhupada says, to fruitive activities, which are recommended in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. The whole world is attached to fruitive activities. That makes the whole world go around. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals. That sounds familiar. When we talk to people about Krishna consciousness, they're not interested. But they're very much interested in sense gratification. And if they're pious and following the Vedas, attracted by the Vedas, as Krishna says in this verse, by the flowery language of the Vedas, by the knowledge of the Vedas, then they want to enjoy life in heaven. And even more, they want to make earth into heaven. That is their dream. Being a millionaire, having a large, beautiful property with swimming pool and everything, having opportunity for sense gratification, having women there, mingling, having the best type of food to eat, and just having a good time. What they call a good time. So they don't want anything beyond that. So this is very common. Where heavenly planets, Srila Prabhupada describes, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. Yes, in the heavenly planets, material opulence is easily attainable. And the enjoyment in the heavenly planets, and Srila Prabhupada mentions the Lord Indra's garden, which is meant for sense pleasure. And The enjoyment, Srila Prabhupada explains, the enjoyment in the heavenly planets is, we cannot even imagine. It's the standard here of material enjoyment is very low. And as soon as we have a little bit of material enjoyment, it turns sour very soon. So in the heavenly planet is not like that. First of all, the life expectancy is much, much longer. 10,000 years. That is something, right? Here we 100 years. Once we over 50, Srila Prabhupada says old age starts. Old age after 50. What we speak of 60, 70. And then when we're 80, most people quit their body. Some living up till 90 and very, very rare, few living up to 100 years. So the life expectancy in the heavenly Indraloka and other higher planets, heavenly planets, 10,000 years. That is something. Oh, I can enjoy for 10,000 years. So after 10,000 years, it goes just in a flash. You'll be back here in this material world with mixed karma of enjoyment and suffering. Back to square one. What have you gained? Nothing. Just wasted a lifetime. Another one. We have already wasted so many lifetimes. So many lifetimes. And we have mentioned many times. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, don't be a miser. We have wasted millions of lifetimes. Just give this one lifetime, the present lifetime, to the service of Radha and Krishna. So there is a yajna, sacrifice, mentioned, recommended, if we want to go to the heavenly planets. And we can go. Srila Prabhupada wrote one of his early little booklets, Easy Journey to Higher Planets, where he describes the yogic process, how the yogi can elevate himself to higher planets. So there is a way of doing that. And Jyotistoma, sacrifice, is mentioned. Anyone who wants to go to the heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices. I hope we don't have any questions at the end or how to perform this sacrifice. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, men with poor fund of knowledge think this is the whole purpose of the Vedas. People come across the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas and they think that's all. That's what the Vedas are about. But that's not the case, of course. There is more confidential knowledge. One has to be qualified to receive the mercy of a devotee. What's that verse? Samashritaye pada pada palavam plavam. No. What's that verse? Amrita Radhe Mataji. When it is explained, one goes up to the higher planetary systems, to the lower, up and down like a yo-yo, and all over the universe. And if one is very fortunate, he, by Krishna's mercy, meets a genuine spiritual master, a pure devotee. What's that verse? Brahmanda Brahmide Kona Bhagavan achieve Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Beach. Brahmanda Brahmide. So, Guru Krishna, by the grace of Guru and Krishna, one receives the Bhakti Lata, the seed of genuine devotional service. that is beyond the karma kanda section of the Vedas. So one has to be fortunate. One has to be fortunate to meet devotees. And then that seed is planted into the heart. From there, one's life totally turns around. Totally. How much? 360 degrees. And what one has aspired for in this life and in many, many previous lifetimes, namely to enjoy the senses, to try to find a happy place within this material world, to try to create a happy place and live here forever. All this becomes totally meaningless when one has received that bhakti lata, that seed of devotional service. So devotees, of course, they know beyond the karma kanda section of the Vedas. Then Srila Prabhupada writes, it is very difficult for such an inexperienced person to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. Inexperienced. So that hints, Krishna consciousness, we need some experience. That's very important. We need some experience in Krishna consciousness. So that means we need to be in the association of devotees. Experience we cannot really very much gain by being alone and without in contact with devotees. So it's very important to get experience in Krishna consciousness. Experience in Krishna consciousness means sometimes we are on the wrong track and sometimes we are on the right track. And if we are on the wrong track, we correct our trajectory. We put it back into focus. We have explained previously that karma yoga, the goal is Krishna, but we still have a strong desire for enjoying the senses. So karma yoga, the point of karma yoga is that the goal is fixed. We know the goal is Krishna. We want to achieve Krishna, but we still have material desires. And so we're not going to Krishna in a straight line. Hardly anybody will go towards Krishna in a straight line. The line goes left and right and left and right and left and right. As long as the end goal, Krishna, is not lost, the left and right, there's some detours. Like we want to drive by car to a destination and we're not going the straight route. We're going on country lanes and we're realizing that is not the right way. So we're turning to the right and we're crossing, unfortunately, the straight road to our destination, and then we are too much on the right. And then we correct. And then we're too much on the left and too much on the right. It's like when we learn to ride a bike. Not everybody knows how to ride a bike. So if we first learn how to ride a bike, it's very difficult to go straight ahead. we kind of wiggling left and then right and correcting. When we go too much left, we almost falling left of the bike. So we turn it on the right and then we go too much right, too much left, too much right. And eventually these swings will become less and less. And when we experienced in riding a bike, then we're going in a straight line. Straight line. That is what Srila Prabhupada talks here. An inexperienced person, it is difficult to execute determined action in Krishna consciousness. So that karma yoga, as long we have the goal, Krishna, in mind, then our swings to the left and our swings to the right, that doesn't matter in the end, because we're gaining some experience. Gaining some experience. How, and then we correct our course until we're going more or less straight in the end, and we're reaching the goal. If we driving in swings too much left and too much right, then it will take longer, of course, because in the end we have done double the journey as if we go in a straight line towards the goal. But hardly anyone is going in a straight line towards the goal. There will be deviations, there will be fall downs, there will be so many obstacles. And what to do? Immediately, when we fail in our Krishna conscious endeavor, we immediately put ourselves back on the track. Back on the track, not being depressed, not being sorry for ourselves. All that does not help. The only thing that helps, okay, I stepped away from the path and let me get back on the path, a straight path back to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is very merciful and understanding, particularly those in the Western countries where sense gratification is all around us, everywhere. Every outlet plays and advertises sense gratification. So it is difficult to not being influenced. We can reduce it by selecting carefully what we're watching. If we just indulge in any TV programs and films, and then we're polluting our mind purposefully. And that will not help us. It will make it so much more difficult later on. Another example is given. Srila Prabhupada says devotional service is like walking on a razor's edge. Imagine walking on a razor's edge. It's so narrow. Or another example is very well known. I think it comes from the Christian background. The way to God is a narrow path, while the way to, we could say, to repeated birth and death is a very nice paved road, wide road. Everybody walks on that wide and beautiful highway, slightly downhill, so no endeavor needed. Just walk with everybody else. Everybody is walking. Well, if everybody is walking, so it must be right. No. The way to reach the goal of life is a narrow path, uphill struggle, and only few persons walking on that path. So that is a devotional service. So we need to support each other, to hold hands. If some people are climbing a narrow path, they help each other. Oh, come, give me your hand, I help you. Okay, one step up. Like that. So in this way we're gaining experience. And then we're learning how to be determined. As Srila Prabhupada writes, in the determined action of Krishna consciousness, one needs to be very determined to act in Krishna consciousness. And then Srila Prabhupada carries on. Fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the result of such attractions. Children, sometimes there are many poisonous trees and many poisonous creepers, and if we walk in nature, we'll have to supervise our children, young children. They put anything in their mouth. And it looks like a cherry, but it is a very poisonous. Belladonna. I don't know if you know. Belladonna. It has some little black cherries. It looks like cherries, but it's poisonous. Atropine, belladonna. A ritual would know that. So therefore Srila Prabhupada writes, fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees. Why? Because they have no knowledge about those attractions. Similarly, unenlightened men are similarly attracted by the heavenly opulences for sense gratification. The same thing. So the heavenly opulences are poisonous. They may appear very nice, or that is nice, but actually it's poisonous. And then Srila Prabhupada speaks about the Karmakanda section of the Vedas. The Chatamasya Chachina Sukritam Bhavati. 4 months penances. Those becoming eligible to drink the Soma Rasa beverage, to become immortal and happy forever. That Soma Rasa is an intoxicating drink available on Chandraloka, the moon planet. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Soma Rasa to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratification. So it appears here that might be even that Soma Rasa available here on earth. I don't know what exactly it is. Such person in general are very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. There are many yagyas, and there are a certain type of people who feel very much attracted to these yagyas. They do anything. They organize a yagya, they're organizing Brahmins, they're organizing a fire and making offerings and mantras. For them, this is more important than chanting Hare Krishna. Of course, sacrifices, in particular animal sacrifices, as in previous times there are forbidden for this age of Kali. The yagya for this age of Kali is a chanting of Hare Krishna. So such person here described in this verse, they are sensual people, and they want nothing else than heavenly pleasures of life, in this life or in the next. And then Srila Prabhupada talks of the Nandana Kanana gardens in the heavenly planets, Lord Indra's gardens, where there is good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women, and having a profuse supply of Soma Rasa wine. Okay, here we're learning a little bit more. So Soma Rasa is a type of wine. And in the last sentence, Srila Prabhupada says, such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material temporary happiness as lords of the material world. And that's what everybody is dreaming of. Let me become a lord of this material world. Let me become a sense enjoyer. Let me become a millionaire. That's what everybody is dreaming of. Okay, do we have any questions so far? Amit or Amrita Radhe Mataji?
No question.
Amrita Radhe?
Well, no, Prabhu. So far it's clear. Basically, you're talking about how, basically, I think whenever I hear any Krishna conscious philosophy, I feel that it's targeted towards mainly our desires. So it is important that we change our desires and align them more and more to Krishna. So I think, because like you gave an excellent example of how when a person is learning how to ride a cycle, it's not going to be on a straight line. It's going to go left, right, like that. So happens like initially when we join Krishna consciousness movement, we feel, yeah, I'm going to be a pure devotee in 15 days. I'll just eliminate all the desires and just want to serve Krishna. But then, then suddenly some desire crops in, another crops in, like that. So yeah, but of course when we keep hearing this philosophy, then we must, I think, introspect quite a lot about what is the motive behind our actions, and try to purify that motive as well as our actions, and not become too attached with the results of action. Because sometimes what happens, even when we are preaching, and then when we have it's a transcendental activity, but when we get followers, we get we go into Maya thinking, oh, these are my followers. So I think being introspective, I think, is very, very important, and also keep a check on our desires. This is what I've understood.
Yeah, thank you. That was a beautiful observation and insight. Introspection. The introspective sage. Bhagavad Gītā. Yes, constantly checking ourselves. Constantly. Motives. We might think we have the right motives, and then it appears like actually we have been materially motivated. Follow us. followers. Better don't have any followers, because to have followers is very dangerous. Because the followers will say, oh, you're so great devotee. And then, in the end, we believe it. Oh, I'm such a great devotee. I have so many followers. I have attracted so many people. All that attraction, if anyone is attracted to hear from us, attracted to us, that's Krishna's attraction. They're not attracted to us, they're attracted to Krishna. Through us, we are just an instrument. That's the right mentality. We are just an instrument. There can be hundreds of thousands of people being followers. They're not actually our followers. They're Krishna's followers. They belong to Krishna, not any disciples. They belong to me, my disciples. They're not my disciples. They're Srila Prabhupada's disciples. They're Krishna's disciples. If we think, oh, I got so many disciples, then we have to check our motivation. Then very easily we are overcome by pratishta. Pratishta means name, fame, glory, is the same old story. Very dangerous. If we don't have any followers on social media or in real life or disciples, and we don't know that, how we can become corrupted in our devotional service. We can become proud. We can become puffed up even. And then our humility is destroyed. So it's a big responsibility to have followers. And we must always, if that is Krishna's plan. In fact, we should, when we spread Krishna consciousness naturally, there will be some people inclined to listen to us. Naturally, there will be some followers. And if we then think we can exploit them for financial gains, we can exploit them for our pratishta, for our reputation, for our name and fame. These are all the traps. None of it. We just executing our service to Srila Prabhupada. And any followers and opulence which comes along, we offer it to our spiritual master. That's a safe side. Let's look at the example of Arjuna. Krishna empowered him with his Gandiva bow. He was the greatest archer. Nobody could stand up to him. So much power he had. Celestial weapons. All of that. But this was on Krishna's behalf. And as soon as Krishna wound down his pastimes and left back to the spiritual world, then Arjuna's Gandiva bow had no power anymore. Imagine. So it's not Arjuna thinks that I am so powerful. Immediately as Lord Krishna left, there was no need for the Gandiva anymore. There was no need to. Enemies had been conquered. All enemies had been killed. Then, while Arjuna was traveling with coward men and women, they were attacked by some dacoits. And Arjuna couldn't even protect them anymore with his bow. it has lost all the power. So that's an example. Krishna gives that power, and Krishna takes that power. If people are attracted to us, if we have many followers, Krishna gives that power, that people are followers and are attracted, and Krishna can take that power in just a moment's time, without any notice, just like Krishna took that power of the Gandiva bow. So if we become proud, Krishna will take it away. But we must gain some experience. We can be, of course, inoculated of hankering for pratishtha and reputation and name and fame and glory, even before we coming to such a position. And when we come to such a position, we need to, like Amrita Radhimataji, you explained so nicely, we need to introspective all along the way. And so more higher we climb in devotional service, so more introspective we need to be. Or let's take Valmiki. When a hunter killed the two Kurari birds, two eventually, then he became angry. He was ready to curse. I mean, he was observing those birds. Then the hunter came with his arrow. The poor bird was crying and dying from the arrow of the hunter. So Valmiki became angry. He was a very well practiced sage. To keep his anger checked, to keep his senses under strict control. So he was introspective. Then he thought to himself, what has overcome me? Why have I suddenly become angry? That's unusual for me. I thought I was always so well balanced and keeping my anger checked and my senses under control. Why? Just by two birds. Why I suddenly became angry? Where did it come from? Introspective. Of course, there was more to it, because when he thought about it, then the meter of the verses of the Ramayana came in his mind. Then he could understand that Krishna was doing his pastime. He was supposed to get that meter of the verses of the Ramayana. That it is covered by that incident. And there are many other examples when anger is very difficult to check. The sages and the munis and Durvasa and others, they can control their senses perfectly well. Perfectly well they can maintain brahmacharya, celibacy, no problem. But anger, that is the most difficult to check. So we know Durvasa became angry. And Asa sages became angry when agitated. Senses under control, but anger boils up easily. So devotional service is very different. Anger is not suppressed like anything else. Nothing is suppressed, but everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. So anger is also engaged in the service of the Lord. Some people, the new devotees, they cannot understand that. How come? Anger is okay. I thought anger is very negative. character trait, and we should suppress it, we should abandon it, we should control it. Same with greed. It's a very negative thing. Greed. I'm greedy. Greedy after money, greedy after food. So many things greedy. Greedy after sense gratification. More and more and more and more. But these emotions cannot be checked. Cannot be checked. Like our senses cannot be just checked artificially. But they can be employed in the service of the Lord, and then they're automatically checked. What needs to be checked is the independent use of our senses for sense gratification, not the senses. The very same senses are engaged in Krishna's service. That is a right position. We cannot stop the senses. Not possible. And the anger, what example we having? Hanuman. Hanuman had his anger perfectly under control, but when Ravana had taken Sita to Lanka, then Hanuman became so angry. He burned the whole city of Ravana's capital. Out of anger, so angry he became. Arjuna also became angry on the battlefield. He became very fierce. But both these examples, the anger was employed in Krishna's service. And then the anger is not anymore negative. The anger is not negative in itself. But the anger for our sense gratification, that is negative. The anger for Krishna, that is positive. And greed, how can greed be engaged in devotional service? Greed is generally a bad quality. But Shastra tells us we need to be greedy to get the association of a pure devotee. Greed is rightly employed. We need to be greedy to make advancement in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we can be greedy. But to be greedy for satisfying our senses, that is bad. And to be greedy for Krishna and the association of devotees, that is good. But with everything like that. Krishna consciousness doesn't mean denying anything. It just means changing the direction towards Krishna. Any questions? Amit, Amritarati.
No, Prabhu, this was very wonderful. Thank you. About Pratishtha and being introspective. Yeah, thank you.
Amit, what about you?
Prabhu, I think yes, no. I mean, it's no real questions, but sometimes can you have a danger of being too introspective?
Too what?
Too introspective. You know, when you analyze ourselves too much, sometimes. It's a balance. I think definitely we need interest. You know, we need, but sometimes it can hinder, advancement because we have too much. Sometimes, well, I don't know. I think so. I think maybe sometimes if we look too introspective.
Some people even say
that don't exist.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Some people even say you can be too much into Krishna. I heard that many times from people coming from the Indian community. They want their children, yes, do something spiritual, chant, do arti. And when the children then getting very much into Krishna consciousness and going to the temple and regularly and hearing classes, and the parents become a bit worried. Yeah, I want you to be Krishna conscious, but not too much. Not too much. What does it mean, too much? Okay, Mom, I want to join the brahmachari ashram. I want to become a brahmachari. Oh, no. What about grandchildren? What about marriage? They're thinking of themselves, of course. So introspection does not only mean analyzing, certainly not in an intellectual way, analysis, like a big analysis. No, it just means to examine our heart. Introspection, insight. So we need to look at our heart. As devotees, we always look at our heart. Because Krishna is in the heart. We always look at our heart. What is there in the heart? How will we clean the heart if we don't look at our heart? And that's a long process of anartha nivritti. It's not. The long road of anartha nivritti, we chanting, we becoming purified, is happening all automatically. No. It is accompanied by looking at our heart, looking at our mind as well. What is there in the heart? Bring it out. All the nasty stuff, bring it out, bring it out. And then I see what it is, and then I can put it in the right place. Again, the same example we have given many times, making ghee from butter. We cannot say, when we heat up the butter, and the foam comes up, we cannot say, yeah, but don't heat up too much. Don't take the foam off too much. Everything in balance. It doesn't work. We want to have some ghee from butter, we'll need to put the fire on and keep the fire on. And we need to take all the foam off until no more foam comes to the surface. Then we get pure ghee. So introspection is the same. It cannot be too much introspection, too much looking at our heart. Don't look too much in your heart. Be practical. Otherwise you cannot function in society. These are people saying who have no faith in the process of Krishna consciousness. Don't get too much into it. We want you to be socializing with us for our pleasure. So I don't think there can be too much introspection. If we understand really what introspection means, looking at our heart, looking at Krishna in our heart, looking at our heart, there can be not too much, only too little. Because if you recognize, we have to recognize any tendency for sense gratification, any tendency for enjoying pratishta, for enjoying reputation, and enjoying followers, and enjoying name and fame. These are subtle sense gratification. And we may not understand. At the beginning of our Krishna conscious journey, we don't deal with subtle sense gratification. We deal with gross sense gratification. We want to stop eating meat, fish and eggs. That's already a big step ahead. We want to stop illicit sexual connection. That's a very, very big step ahead. As a man, we don't want to lose our semen. That is celibacy. That is brahmacharya. But that's a big step. By either illicit sexual connection or by mechanical means, it's all the same. So we want to come to that point where we overcome that sexual desires. Well, of course, society tells us, no, it's not healthy. You must have some sound sex life. Otherwise you become sick and ill and this and that. And that's all rubbish. If someone can retain one's semen in celibacy, then he becomes very powerful. And the memory becomes very powerful. And all of that. Of course, that's not the reason why we do it. We do it because we're following the order of our spiritual master. No illicit sexual connection. No illicit sex means no illicit sex by mechanical means or connection with women or any of that. So this is a gross sense gratification that takes a long time to conquer. Long time. No intoxication of any sort. These principles, that is our main concern at the beginning. We don't have any idea of the subtle sense gratification, of respect, of name, of fame. These are subtle sense gratification. They are more finer. Once we have conquered our gross sense gratification, once we really got over it, and we are on a firm footing, and the four regulative principles have become second nature, in fact, first nature, then we can look on the subtleties. Well, okay, I'm celibate sannyasi. I've conquered my senses pretty much in practical terms. What about the desire of recognition? The desire for respect. What does Lord Chaitanya says? Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. If we give respect to everyone, Raghunath Das Goswami, he was residing at Radha Kund. And not only he chanted his prescribed number of rounds all day long. Not only he ate just a little bit of buttermilk every day. So very austere. And while he resided at Jagannath Puri, it was just the rice which has been thrown away because it had gone off. It has been thrown over the wall of near the Simhadwara gate, the lion gate. And even the cows didn't touch it because it had a bad smell. If the rice goes off, it doesn't smell very nice. It becomes all mushy on the outside. So what did Raghunath Das do? He washed it. He washed off all the mushy things. And there was still a little heart inside that he was eating. And before that, he was begging. Raghunath Das Goswami, who comes from a very rich Kayashta family. Very rich family. When he ran away from home, his parents sent so much money to him just to be sure he's comfortably situated. Of course, he used that money and buy Jagannath Prasadam and give for Prasadam distribution, feeding the devotees. That is how he was using that money. So he comes from a very rich family, Raghunath Das. And there Raghunath Das is standing at the Simhadwara gate and begging for his food. And then he stopped. And Lord Chaitanya was asking, why did Raghunath Das stop begging at the Simhadwara gate? And then the answer came back. He was introspective. He looked at his motive. We're speaking about motivation, introspection. So he looked, why what's my mentality? Standing there and begging. Then he found out it's just, I have adopted the mentality of a prostitute. That's strong words. Why? Why is the mentality of a prostitute? Because the same people coming to visit Lord Jagannath's temple, and I'm recognizing them. And in my mind I'm thinking, oh, this person has given me something yesterday, and so today he will also give something. So this mentality of calculating, oh, there is a person, I know he has given me some donation, so I expect that today he will also give some donation. So that is not a very nice mentality. He didn't like that. He was introspective. So that's not very nice. I'm calculating. I'm not just sitting there neutral and close my eyes and whatever comes in my begging bowl. That would have been better. No, I started calculating in the mind, making plans. And then he gave up that begging at the Simhadwara gate. What was his next stage? He was getting to the stalls. There was free food distribution for sadhus. And Lord Chaitanya said, that's very good. It's very good. Rather than begging and having a calculating mentality like a prostitute, this customer was taking my custom and yesterday, so today maybe also, and I gain some financial support. So better to go to the free food distribution. But then Raghunath stopped that as well. Lord Chaitanya was inquiring, why did Raghunath stop going to the free food distribution? Because going to the free food distribution, there is so much gossip going on. There's so many sadhus coming, and naturally when they all assemble and there is talking and this and that, and so he didn't find it conducive to his Krishna consciousness. So he stopped that as well. And then he adopted the method of washing the rice which has been thrown away and eating that. There was no expectation this person might give me something, and or that person. No expectation, no gossip. He was all alone, collecting that rice, washing it and eating it. When Lord Chaitanya heard that, he went straight to Raghunath Das. And Raghunath was just collecting that rice and washing it and eating it. And Lord Chaitanya said, what are you hiding here? And Raghunath was hiding it from the Lord. What are you hiding here? You have the most delicious food. I mean, we're speaking about Mahaprasadam from Jagannath. And then by force, Lord Chaitanya took a morsel of that washed rice from Raghunath and ate it. By force he took. And he danced. And that's the most delicious Mahaprasadam I have ever eaten. Why? Not delicious by sense impulse, but delicious by Lord Chaitanya enjoyed the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. He enjoyed that. He approved that. Of course, nobody can imitate Raghunath Das Goswami. He is the emblem of renunciation. Very strictest renunciation. So when he later on he was at Radhakund, not only he continuously chanted the holy name of the Lord, he offered at least 100 obeisances to devotees as a regulative principle. Just see, Raghunath Das, 100 obeisances every day and not just to sannyasis and big sadhus and gurus with many followers. No, ordinary devotees, ordinary, new bhaktas, all sorts of devotees. He just offered, and not only offered his obeisances, he offered dandavats, prostrated like a stick, all stretched out. So that was his regular principle. So that humility. And from introspection, there's a lot of introspection has been going on. And then he changed course of action a few times by understanding what's going on within his mind and heart, and then just achieving another level of Krishna consciousness. So this is to say, introspection is very important. What you say, Amit? Introspection is very important. So, once we have conquered the gross senses, then the subtle sense gratification of respect and honor and followers, and that comes into play. And then if we have conquered over the subtle sense gratification, then there is nothing more. And there's nothing more. And then what Srila Prabhupada talked about in the previous verse, the last bit of the previous verse, the whole process of Krishna consciousness depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically, but practically. Practically, that means introspection. Without introspection, we don't get any practical knowledge. Then all our knowledge will be theoretical knowledge. And that is not very helpful to us. Just accumulating some stories and facts. But with introspection, practically, so not theoretically but practically, Srila Prabhupada writes, when there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. So there is no more chance. Once we have conquered over the gross sense gratification and we have conquered over the subtle sense gratification, and then there is no longer a chance for sense gratification through fruitive activities. So that's important. Anything else? Anything else?
No problem.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. No question from me.
Rita Rati, you wanted to say something?
No problem. I just said thank you.
Okay. So, we stop here. Amrita Rati Mataji, come to Leicester sometime soon. Visit us, go to Belgrave and get a beautiful arti plate, set, chamara. I don't know if you get in Leicester chamara. Arti plate you will get, for sure. Archman cup, bell, plate. But if you...
I don't know why you didn't like the chamara, because one very, very sweet devotee actually gifted it to us. It's made of silver, and I personally feel it's so personal and it's so sweet. I know bigger the better and everything, but I personally feel like for home deities, it's so nice, like especially because that Mataji specially ordered and got it made for our Radha Giridhari. So how we see it, how I see it, I see it as an offering of love from her for our Radha Giridhari. Maybe for bigger festivals, like whenever you all come and other devotees come. For that, maybe we'll bring one big chamara But I would genuinely and very honestly and very frankly say that I really like the chamara she gave.
If that is the case, that was a gift of love. You have to use it. Of
Thank
course.
you, Prabhu. You are very merciful. Thank
Of
you.
course, of course. That is important. What about an arti plate?
Yeah, we will arrange something.
Okay, I understand. Get an arti plate, use a chamara. Yes, use a small chamara. Peacock. Yes, no problem. Okay, here we stop for tonight. Thank you very much, Amit, Amritarati Mataji. I hope anything tonight was helpful.
Yes, Prabhu, your association is very inspiring. Thank
Well,
you.
your association and your beautiful questions are also inspiring. It goes two ways.
Thank
Right?
you, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Amit, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.